Hello, everybody, and welcome to Intro to Psychology. This is an introductory podcast to get you familiar with Plato and just what is here available to you and how everything is set up. So, I'd really like you to take some time working through this podcast. Go back and listen to it again if you need to. But I'm going to just try to briefly cover all of the things that you're going to be seeing here on the sides and what those entail. So the first thing we're going to start with is where we open up to when you come to the class, and that is usually here, the announcements page. So anytime I've sent an announcement, you'll be notified via email. And then when you log into Plato and you go into the class, that announcement's going to pop up right here. And this is kind of like the home page for the class. The very first place I want you all to go to get started on the class is the Start Here menu. So if we go ahead and click in there, it's going to bring you to this page that I've set up, which I basically outline everything step by step of how to get started in the class. Now, some of you are new to online classes, maybe new to using Plato, so you might need to spend a little more time going through this and digesting this, and others of you have taken online classes before, have used Plato before, and so you're going to be a little bit faster. And that's all fine, so work at it at the speed which is comfortable for you, but make sure that you do go through each thing. The very first thing you should be doing is listening to this podcast, so you've already started off on the right foot. I would look at everything that I've listed here just so you know where things are. You might not need something right now quite yet, but knowing where they are when you do need them is going to save you some time later. So knowing where to go for the syllabus, where's textbook information, if I need some information about how to cite a source in my writing, where would that be? All of that stuff is going to be outlined here. I pretty much give you all the basics that you would get if you were in the first day of class with me in person, which is basically going over the syllabus. So you're going to find everything that's listed here in this little checklist below. So this is just a checklist telling you kind of what to expect, and then everything you can find here down below. So let's go through these. Here's the podcast that you're listening to now. Here is the syllabus. Now, what I would recommend is printing this out. I know it's online and we're a digital generation, but sometimes it really is nice to have that printed copy with you because you could be working on something and forget when it's due or just need that reminder of when things are due. You can take it and mark these dates in your syllabus, in your calendar. So it's nice to just have a printed copy. That'll help keep you on track because summer classes do move very fast and sometimes we can forget due dates, and due dates aren't always the same. So it isn't always the case that things are due on the same day every week. And that can kind of get a little confusing sometimes. So print that out. Everything is in it. I really want you to read it very carefully, looking at all due dates, looking at what you're responsible for in terms of assignments, quizzes, exams, all of my policies. Once you've done that, I'd like to know that you've done that. So you're all going to be submitting a little bio about yourselves in the student lounge, and part of that will be letting me know, like, hey, yes, I've looked over the syllabus and everything looks good, or I have a question, here's what it is. So there's the syllabus. These are your textbooks for the class. Now I've put a picture here of the third edition of the Cicerelli and White main textbook for the class. However, there is a fourth edition out, and I think that's what the bookstore has available to you. You can get either one. Just know that if you get the fourth edition, it doesn't look exactly like this. I think there's still fish on it, but it looks a little different. Either the third or the fourth edition is going to work just fine for the class, but you do need to buy whatever edition you want, and it needs to come with MyPsychLab. MyPsychLab is a little extra software code that you get that allows you access to their online resources that come with the book, sort of like ancillary supplies, but it gives you access to all the videos we're going to be watching in the class, practice tests and things like that that you're probably going to want to have to study with, but definitely essential for the videos. One thing I do know about this book is that it does come as an e-text. So some of you, that might be a popular option if you're looking to save some money. Just make sure that the e-text has the MyPsychLab. I've given you some websites here. This is the Pearson highered.com website. They're the publishers of that book. So you can go there and you can see what the different options are. Just make sure that you're getting either the 3rd or the 4th edition, and it's Psychology and Exploration. And that's important because these two authors, Ciccarelli and White, also have other intro psych books. I know, they like to make things really confusing. So you need to make sure that you're getting this one. Otherwise, you're getting a totally different textbook and different material. So, you know, play around there. Check out the website before you commit to buying your book. You might be able to find the books other places other than the bookstore, and that's fine too. Again, if you find it really cheap somewhere else and it doesn't come with the access code, you can buy just the access code if you go to this PearsonHigherEd.com site. They'll allow you to purchase the access code separately. So that's an option too. Once you have that book and you have that access code, you're also going to need this course code, which tells the program whose class you're in. You know, okay, now I have my software, I'm all set to go. Now whose class am I registered in? And this is going to go ahead and tell the software that and get you into my class so that my materials are available to you. So that's the main book. We're also going to be reading several studies out of this book here, 40 Studies That Changed Psychology by Roger Hawk. This is a great book. It just covers so many seminal studies in psychology. I mean, that's why it's promptly named 40 Studies That Changed Psychology, because they really did. These are impact types of studies that really changed the way we viewed the field, paved the way for research that we're continuing to do today. So this is going to be the primary book that we use for discussions. It's where our discussions will start from, and then you'll also be using this book to kind of add to the content that you put in your discussions. And this one is in the 7th edition, and you're going to want to go ahead and get the 7th edition because they change from edition to edition. I don't know that the studies exactly change, but sometimes they take one out, put a different one in, or they change the order, and I don't want everyone getting confused. So make sure you do get the 7th edition, and the bookstore is going to have that one as well. So that's all of the textbook info. Be aware of return policies. This is a summer class. It moves very fast. So when you're buying your books, make sure you're going to get them on time. You don't want to buy a book and not get it for 2 weeks because the class is only 6 weeks long, and that means you're not going to have a book for 30% of the class. And you don't want that. That would not be good. So make sure you're going to get your books on time, and that if you need to, you have a certain time where you can return them and what have you. Here's some instructions on how to log into MyPsychLab once you get that access, just in case you need it. Not everyone does. Some people get in fine. Others need like more instructions, so they're there if you need them. Here is my bio. It's just a little blurb about me. If I were teaching you in class, I would tell you a little bit about my background, who I am, where I came from, all that good stuff. So go ahead and read that over, and you're going to be modeling this as you write your bios. It's kind of like our icebreaker for the class. So very first week of classes, by Wednesday, you need to have written a little bio of yourself, and you're going to be posting it in the student lounge. And the student lounge is back up in here under communications. You click there, click into student lounge, and you post your bio. And you can just post it by your name, first and last name. But you know, I ask you to tell me something interesting about yourself, your major, where you're from, and 3 adjectives that describe you. And it's a good icebreaker for the class so we can all get to know one another. Here's some instructions on how to do a discussion board post. I will talk more about this in the first module, so we're just going to reserve that for now. And then these are just all good resources to have. If you are new to online learning, there's some good stuff in there to get you acquainted with that. Different policies, test-taking tips, note-taking tips, and any downloads that might be useful. You always want to make sure when you're doing an online class that your computer is up to date with the latest software that you're going to be needing to watch videos or open documents. Sometimes students get stuck and can't open a video or can't open something simply because you just don't have the right program installed, and most of those programs are free. You just need to install them. So there's some good stuff there. What you see here on the left column underneath Start Here menu, so once you get past the Start Here menu, you might go into these from time to time. Communications is where you can chat with me or chat with others. The Student Lounge, if we click into here, is, here's all my contact information. But the Student Lounge is where you can chat with each other. So ask each other questions, set up study groups, whatever you want to do, that's for you. If you have a question for me that you think other people might have, you can use this Ask Dr. W. That way when I respond, everyone will see it. If you have a more personal message you want to send me or just something about your grade and you don't want others to see it, then you can message me privately. You can also just email me at swilliams@westfield.ma.edu. And that's my direct email that I get. So that's our communications tab. Discussions, you'll really be doing the discussions within each module, so you don't really need to worry about that. But then you also have My Grades, and that's where you can see a running tab of your grades on everything. So quizzes, tests, discussion posts, and you can kind of keep track of how you're doing in the class. If you get stuck in Play-Doh and need help, this is a great spot to go. If you're having trouble accessing something won't open for you, you can't watch a video, anything like that, that's what Play-Doh help tickets are for. You can submit a help ticket, you can say what your problem is, and then they will get back to you via email fairly quickly and help you out. There's some other great links for the library, just using the Blackboard app, which is Play-Doh, anything there that you might need. So that's a good place to go. Other than these top tabs here, we then get into modules. So how I've set up your summer class, it's 6 weeks, and we're going to be doing 2 modules each week. With the exception of the very last week, we'll be doing 3 modules. So the last week is a little truncated, a little more material. We got to fit it in. You're learning the same amount of material that we would learn during a semester-long class. Of course, you know that. But I will get into more information about what's in the modules when you get to them. So your next step is going to be to go into module number 1. And when you go there, there's going to be a podcast for you. It'll be one of the first things you see. And you'll click on it, and it's going to kind of give you the rundown of what to expect in each module, what the layout's going to look like. And these modules will be the same each week, same layout, very predictable in knowing what you can expect and what you need to do each module each week. So again, it's 2 modules per week, and I will make those available to you Sunday night of each week. So you'll be ready to go for the next week. So that's pretty much it in terms of navigating Play-Doh and navigating these tabs. So, once you finish this Start Here and you've gone through all of this information here, you've purchased your textbooks, you've logged into my Psych Lab, you've checked that out, you've seen what's there and what's available to you, you've read my bio, then you can go ahead and you can post your bio to the Student Lounge by, Tuesday, May 22nd. But please let me know if this is confusing at all, or if you have any questions about this setup. I'd be glad to answer those questions. And I look forward to getting to know you all in the class. Thanks, everyone.